What's going on, and welcome back to Kicking It With. My name is Zac Holcomb. This is episode 38, and beside me, you'll notice Kristen Goyette. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you.
So what's been going on? We we're hanging out a little bit, break the ice a little bit. But for those that don't know, you're on this new life venture here, where you've converted from a previous career into a second career.
I have. I've gone crazy. So yeah, I spent 20 years in healthcare as a nurse.
Nice.
Not all 20 years as a nurse. I've held a variety of roles. So I like to say I was just in healthcare.
Gotcha.
And then I've always had an interest in real estate. So the stars aligned, and I just took a leap of faith and
Little plunge.
yeah.
Nice.
And I jumped in with both feet, and so it's kind of sink or swim. So sometimes I feel like I'm, you know, how you're swimming and you might be swallowing a little water.
Yeah, for sure. You're taking on water but still floating.
Yes. So some days it feels like that, and some days I'm like, yes, and then some days I'm like, what have I done?
Yeah, it's almost like like that game where you get paid on like conversions is very much like the life of an entrepreneur. Like you have the days where you're like, have you seen those memes where it's like a day in the life of an entrepreneur, and it's like all those little like stick figures, and it's like, wake up, and then they do this, and you're like, yes, and then it's like, no, it's like, we're doomed. We made it. We hit the sale.
Yes, that is very, very accurate.
Yeah,
I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, the windfalls is Leon also in kind of the mortgage game. He calls them the windfalls of cash. He's like, you know, you may go a couple of weeks and not get anything, but when you get one, it makes it all right.
Yes, you're like, oh, I remember why I did this.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's not necessarily the cash; it's helping people and
for sure,
empowering people in home ownership.
Yeah, that's gotta be super cool. Like, so my dad does real estate properties and stuff like that back in Columbus, which is where we're from, obviously. If you know anything or watch anything about this show, but they kind of like doing that too, especially when they get like a really good renter, and you know that person's like doing all the things, like they're trying to do it, and then they can kind of be like, hey, you just want to go ahead and take this one over from us? You want to go ahead and buy it?
Right.
So they like doing that too, for sure.
And that's one of the things. So Keith and I have bought 4 homes over our almost 25 years of marriage. And we knew we wanted to get into real estate, but it was like, what do we want to do? So we considered property management. And that's what I did a lot of research on and thought that's the direction we were going to go. And again, I mean, I really don't know how I got here. It's just the doors opened, the stars aligned, and I said, okay, it sounds good. I'm going to go for it.
For sure.
And it was a lot less money up front. Yeah. Whereas if you're buying rental properties, you got to front the down payment and all that good stuff. And of course, if it's an investment property, you have to put 20% down plus your closing costs. So
whole different
was
game.
much cheaper.
You get a different rate too with the investment properties, right, than the homeowner?
Right, a little more.
Yeah.
But I mean, who cares, because your renter is paying for it.
Yeah.
Your renter is making you money while you sleep.
Yeah, that hands-off income. That's what I'm talking about, that passive income.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I'm still interested in doing that. I just thought this might be a little bit of a safer route.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's a partial step towards the big step, right?
And my husband says, you were going to be managing the money. I was going to be managing the properties. He was going to be managing the properties.
Yeah,
and
he's
doing
got
all
6
the
years
things.
left till he's got that kind of time for you.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm not interested in that. And I'm like,
no,
I could have talked him into it. But like I said, this door opened, so.
No, that's funny. That's how my dad does his. So my dad and my stepmom, they do the properties, and she does all the listings, and she deals with the people for the most part, and then he goes in and does the demo and the rebuilds and organizes all that fun stuff. So
Yep. Yeah. So we recently, so every home that we've lived in has not necessarily been a fixer upper, but it needed a little TLC. Yeah. And most recently, the home that we bought needed the most TLC. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Chip and Joanna on HGTV.
Totally. There's another show too that's very similar.
Well, I don't know if you know, Chip's always excited. It's demo day, and he's so excited. And I wish Keith was here, because he would be like, that's a bunch of crap.
Does he like demo day?
No,
he hates demo day. He likes he's the rebuild guy.
That's one of the things where he was like, no rental properties.
That's
because of course, if we bought something, I want to get it fixable, and I want somebody to really want to live there, and he would be I'm the brain and he's the manpower.
I like that. Yeah. I like that.
So anyway, demo day is a facade.
He doesn't like demo day. I like demo day. That's what I'm.
Oh, you do?
I'm not very good at putting things together. I'm very good at seeing the way I want it to look.
Gotcha.
But like, I don't have the actual handy skills to make it look that way. So like, that's where Grant comes in. My brother's perfect. He likes screwing around with all that stuff, and you know, he likes doing those kinds of things. And I'm like, just let me know when you get it ready. I'll list it. So like,
Yeah.
I can feel that.
Well, I am useless because everything we've ever done requires so much strength. And I'm like, I'll clean up. I'll clean up the mess. You make the mess, and I'll get it cleaned up.
There is no demo crew that doesn't need someone pushing a broom.
Right, and that's what I told him.
That.
I'm like, at least when you get finished, there's nothing to clean up.
That's not a bad deal.
I'm good for something.
Yeah.
I'm good for something.
No, I'm serious.
Anyway,
that's usually what I do. I'm pushing the broom, or like I'll swing the hammer a little bit, but I'm not really trying to sweat too much.
Now I will paint.
Chill. You like painting?
Paint. I don't want to say I like to paint, but I can paint.
Tolerate it.
I can paint really well.
Is it one of the things that you're good at, but you don't really care for?
Well, no. I mean, I'm good at it, and I do enjoy it to a certain extent. I mean, some of our houses have been over 3,000 square foot or close to it, so by the time you get to the end of that, you're like, I'm tired of painting.
Are you a trimmer or a roller?
No, Keister trimmer. I'm a rolling queen.
Nice.
I
like to trim.
Rolling queen. I'm rolling from ceiling to floor. I can work it out.
Rolling too. That's funny. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have the space upstairs, so when we start doing that, I'll hit you up. You come down and roll.
Free labor. Free labor. We'll work for food and spirits.
I like that. Yeah. We'll definitely be able to hook that deal up for sure.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I knew there was a reason we became friends.
Yeah, no doubt. This is getting better every day.
Ain't it true? Yeah.
No, that's too funny. That's too funny. Well, that's interesting to know. Yeah, I always like knowing that because, like, if you're into painting at all, you know which one of those two things you like to do.
Well, my grandfather was a professional painter, and I called him Honey all my life, my honey. And that man could trim so fast. Really? He could do all of it so fast, but it's always amazing to me when you can trim fast because that requires
freehand trimming.
Oh yeah, he said I'm over there taping stuff off so it'll be perfect because I'm a perfectionist. And he's like, "What are you doing?" Because he helped me paint one of my houses, and I'm like, "I'm making sure that we get a good line." He said, "No." So painter's tip from my honey who has gone to be with the Lord. He says if you want a good straight line, you've got to have a good caulk line.
Yeah.
The trim is in the caulk.
Yep.
So that's a tip from my grandfather.
I like that.
AKA Honey.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm like a freehand trim person as well. By the time you tape it, I'm already
right. I mean, I've gotten better. Keith is much better, and he's much faster. So we've gotten away from the taping. But so again, that was just a perfectionist thing. And sometimes when he or me, if I get a whatever, when I get a little, not a big, but I mean, I'm a perfectionist. So if it's not perfect, I'm like, what happened here?
So
even to myself. I'm like, what happened here? Then I'm like, go get this color and let's come back in and make that line straight.
You gotta have that satin white or that that eggshell white for the trim or whatever to come back over top. Right. I feel that. I'm in a house right now and it looks they were all super excited to let us know that it had been repainted. And I said, that's beautiful, but it was repainted by a blind person because there's like this much overlap on stuff. Goodness. And I'm like, literally like a 10-year-old. I was like, what are you? But they were very happy about it, very proud.
But I mean, if you're not somebody who notices stuff like that, I guess you don't notice
you would just never know.
But I'm definitely paying attention when I'm at people's houses. I'm like looking at everything.
Well, when we moved in, they didn't have all of it done yet, and there was like some things that hadn't been painted yet, and they had them taped, and I was like, where you could have used the tape on the inside too. Like, it was just hilarious. I was like, maybe they're coming back to do it, and then they just never showed back up again. And so we're like, it's cool, like it is what it is. But we were like, what the heck?
You're like, this is temporary. You have to remind yourself, this is just temporary.
That's it. Stepping stones, man.
Yeah, stepping stones. So, that's good.
And super excited to get upstairs, and then hopefully we can just do all of our painting before the trim goes in. Cheat code.
Yeah, and you can, now people spray.
Yeah.
You don't even have to roll
Have you seen
anymore.
that? Like the TikToks and stuff of the people with like that they have like the little cardboard. It's nicer than that. They have a little aluminum pan or whatever, the galvanized, and they're like,
right.
Those are
amazing.
Crazy.
Now I'm still old school. I don't have those skills yet. I'm rolling and doing how.
Yeah, my dad's got like the sprayer, but he's not like that. He's like out in the garage, like fogging the doors and stuff, and making it happen. So, it's funny. It's funny. It's funny. What's funny about my dad being into it, it's so funny to me, is like my mom's father was like Mr. Hands-On guy, and my dad sold insurance for like 25 years. And so dad worked in an office and like wore a suit every day. And, never was into doing stuff like that.
Right.
And then now so he quit doing insurance, took all of his money, rolled into a REIT, a real estate investment trust, and bought a bunch of properties with it, and then started going in and fixing them. I'm like, So you like start seeing like pictures of dad like doing demo and having dust in his hair, and he's got like clothes covered in paint. You're like, Dad, this is not the dad that I grew up with. You're like, you know, doing the sales job. He's like, yeah, that was to keep you in private school and get those Happy Meals. And he's like, now I can kind of do this stuff. But now he's like in his element, man. And he's like he does tile work.
Oh wow, he's tapped into his unknown skills.
I'm telling you,
that's how. So Keith grew up. His dad passed away when he was 2.
Oh, okay.
So he never had a dad. And sometimes I can tell when he's wanting to do manly projects. I'm like, nobody's ever showed you how to do that. But, you know, I'm not judging him because I sure don't know how to do it.
Sure.
But he's gotten good. Like, I mean, I'm at the point where I think he could build some furniture.
Oh.
I'm like, babe, I like that. I want a table. I want it to look like this. I'm like, do you think you can build that? He's like, I really think I can. So you never know. We might be flipping houses and furnishing it with Keith Goyette. Handmade furniture.
I like that. Does he do like credenzas and
He hasn't done anything yet.
Oh, he just thinks
No.
He's just talking about it. That's great.
Okay, I lied.
That's like me. That would be me. I would be like, I'll tell you about what I think I could do. Yeah.
For our 2 Yorkies, we have a huge kennel because they're spoiled. They can't stay in just a little kennel. They need a mansion. Oh, and so we've got this huge kennel, and I'm like, this is an eyesore. This is not looking good with our home decor. I'm like, okay, I got an idea. And I probably saw it somewhere. It's not like my idea. But anyway, I said, we need a topper so I can use it like as a sofa table, so to speak.
Oh, yeah, you got the little doggy kennel on the table.
Yeah. Right. And so Keith, that's the first piece of furniture that I can think of that he's built.
Nice.
But
that's tough, though. I mean, does he do it all with like wood and stuff?
Yeah, it was all wood. I mean, it was like
bravo, Keith.
5 pieces of wood or so, and he just kind of made them stay together, and you just placed it on top of the. So it really wasn't a piece of furniture; it was just the top of a piece of.
It's furniture. I'm with you on that one, Keith. Yeah.
But he also built a loft in our last house in the garage.
Really?
We needed more storage, so he built a whole loft by himself. I was very impressed.
There you go.
So he's getting there.
He built himself a little like a doghouse room for himself.
That's right. I'm like, you got room for when you're in trouble. But yeah, so this DIY life has paid off.
Yeah, paid off. That's good. I like our first house that me and Steph had. Like we moved into it, and we got like a real good deal on it, and my dad helped us out with it a ton. Him and his wife, and we kind of like fixed it up while we lived there. But it was like. We were like, oh, he's like, you could do the floors yourself. So like, we went and bought like I can't remember like what the stuff you put down like your subfloor, and then you put your flooring over top of that. And so we got hot to trot on that for a minute, man. We went through the whole house. You know, you got glue on your fingers. You're gluing down the LVT planks or whatever, the fake wood or whatever. And we did most of the main parts really well. And I was like, I'm taxed. I'm calling it a day. I'll do all the trim pieces tomorrow.
Right.
And then 2 years later, when we were moving out, we had to do all the trim pieces. Oh, it was such a mess. Like, you know,
because now you got furniture in the way, you got all these
terrible.
things in the way.
Yeah, we did around all the parts that needed cut, and I was like, we'll get it later. Just never ever did it.
So it's a running joke at our house. We're kind of the same. We don't fix everything up right at the beginning. You know, it's kind of like as we go along. And so the kids will always say, the house will be perfect when y'all are ready to sell it. So we go through and
we have a family member that
missing pieces fixed.
Yeah. Well, someone in our family always says, like, you know, if you would just do all the things that you're going to do to sell it, you may just stay.
Right.
Because you do like all that work at the end, and you're like, yeah. You into those shows? Obviously.
Well, I don't really watch a whole lot of TV anymore now that I've gotten older and boring. But when I was younger, I was a huge HGTV person. Yeah. But it's been a long time since I've watched it. My
in-laws got into it like real hot and heavy, and then they just built a house like in the last year or so, maybe something like that. I think they moved in like last May, and we go into it and we're like, I mean, it's very, very cool, very nice. And he contracted the whole thing and kind of like set it all up himself and stuff. And then I don't know there's this other new show on one of those channels. It's very similar to like the Chip and Joanna show, but it's like this other guy and couple, and they have, you maybe know it, they have like a little farmhouse, and it's like the outside of it is black. It's very cool.
I need to check that out. But, I love black. Black's my favorite color.
Yeah, really?
Yep.
Do you have any like black interior walls or anything?
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
I've got all my interior doors are black, and this is the third house that I've done that in.
That's cool.
And
definitely unique in this area
yep.
for sure.
And my office, we did like shiplap on the top, and I painted everything black on top and white, whatever that paneling stuff's called. It goes on the bottom.
Oh, like that little like
Wainscoting or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know how you do it in the bottom?
That was the stuff I was telling you about in our rental, is where like it's like they just went ahead and painted over it really like rough, like they were going to come back and paint all the wainscoting.
Lord.
It's like a Anyhow, I digress.
We can go in there and give you some painting lessons.
I'm telling you, it's not my problem. But
yeah, right. You're like, you can have this.
Yep, notice given.
yes, that's right. Yay.
So yeah, we got the pinch now. We're on the big. We got to move by the end of March, so we're at 43 days until we have to move. We have no showers. We have none of the drywall finished, and we don't have any kitchen in yet. So
nothing gets done better or faster than being under the pressure of a time.
I would agree with that, because we would have gone another 6 months of just like doing whatever.
Right.
So now
you got to set a deadline. You just got to stick to it.
Yep.
So I think, once you get all that done, because it's going to be such a beautiful space, you've got to show your viewers.
Yeah, for
your
sure.
amazing house.
I know. I should be doing
before you get it all personalized.
Yeah, I definitely owe the world a little walkthrough of it, because we showed a lot of the steps of it as we were doing it when we first got in, and then I kind of just got lazy about it and haven't really done it in a while. Right. But yeah, we definitely need to do a little walkthrough up there.
Because it's super unique, especially for Kingston. I mean, those are not on the market often.
Yeah, like a
house like yours,
living like a loft living.
Yeah,
downtown.
loft living. Yeah. So I think that's super interesting for us Kingstonians.
For sure. Hopefully we can do a couple more of them. There's a couple other spots I got my eye on. I won't mention them, because all the vultures out there will go buy them and then sit on them for 40 years and do nothing with them. But
keep your thoughts to yourself.
That's right. I know.
Don't want no dream killers out there or dream stealers.
Yeah, you got to move in silence a little bit. I like to put a lot of stuff out, but the things people are like, oh man, you share like everything you do, and I'm like, not the good stuff. Yeah. They're like, but you share a lot of good stuff.
Everything.
And I'm like, you don't know
most.
Yeah, and you don't know my main plans.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's fun though. I like sharing the journey, but you gotta watch out for everything going out there too.
Yeah, sure. It's a fine line that you have to walk.
Yeah. So you got this new gig. How long? What'd you do in the real estate? Or not real estate, but like in nursing and all that. Like, did you go right into that like right after school and stuff, or?
So interesting story. Keith and I got pregnant in high school.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Well,
Don't recommend any of what I'm about to say.
It gives you a deadline, though. You know what I mean? To get 100%. Serious.
So we found out we were pregnant, and we decided we would get married, give it a try. We actually did not return to high school for our senior year.
Really?
So, went and got our GED. So after Andrew was born, my first child, my only son, who's now 23 and married. But we quickly realized that living off minimum wage was not going to work. Yeah, I mean, tough days. And neither one of us came from wealthy families. So we came from a lot of love, but love does not pay the bills. So we realized we got to go back to school. We got to get our stuff together. And so we both went back. And back then, you could get your GED in one day.
Oh.
Well, what you had to do was take a pre-test, and then you could go back and take the regular test. And we were basically done with high school. We just had to take an English. You had to have an English for all 4 years. And so
that was our thing too.
Yep. So we did that, and literally the day I finished my GED, I wish I knew the guy's name that walked me across the campus here at Lenore Community College and signed me up for my prerequisites for nursing school. I mean, he did it like he didn't give me time to think about it. He was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And thank God that he did. And so I was like, I came home and I'm like, I'm signed up for college. And the funny thing is, I started my first semester of college, or LCC, and my class was doing their senior year of high school. Yeah, how crazy is that? So I kind of like skipped a grade or something.
You just jumped. May as well.
So I went to school and got my LPN, and was very sick of school in just 1 year because I was trying to raise Andrew, and Andrew was all boy, and Keith was also going to school to get his BLET.
Gotcha.
Basic law enforcement training certificate.
Thank you. I didn't know either.
And it's only a 4-month program. And LPN school's only a year, but I actually failed out of nursing school the first time.
Okay.
Being super transparent up here. By 0.1 is what I missed it by.
Oh, man.
Oh, I know.
That sucks.
So I went and was a Wachovia bank teller for about 9 months. And I had already done some clinical when I was in LPN school the first time, and I've just really missed the patients. And I was like, I've got to go back. I got to try. So a very good friend of mine in high school, her mom was the director of nursing, or she probably still is the director of nursing. I don't think I've heard that she's retired, but she was the director of nursing at LCC, and I literally just called her directly one day, and I was like, well, back then she was Miss Welch, but now she's Dr. Welch because she got her doctorate degree. But I said, Dr. Welch, what do I have to do to go back to nursing school? I don't, I need to be a nurse. And she's like, I'll tell you what, I'll let you in the next class. I'll let you back in. But so the way medical classes typically work is they can only accept so many people because you got to go your clinicals and you got to be able to have enough supervision while you're practicing.
Right.
So they only let like 30 people in or so. And she said, but if everybody passes, there won't be enough spots for the second semester.
Gotcha.
So you wouldn't be able to.
So you
like
you got to go and you got to like secretly
Well, I
root
already
for
been there
someone to
one
fail.
time, so I said somebody's failing out.
yeah, you're like, I know how this goes. Yeah, there's
Somebody's
no
gonna be a
0.1
Kristen.
curve. Yeah,
Right. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take that risk. Yeah.
That's funny.
So I went back and I was super successful the second time around. I kind of knew what I was getting into. The first time, I mean, Andrew was very sick. He was in and out of the hospital. I mean, I'm trying to study. Keith's doing his basic law enforcement training, and those were like 12-hour days. So I kind of sort of felt like a little bit of a single mom at some points, and Andrew was sick. So it was just a lot. Everything happens for a reason is what I now know on the back end. And I truly wasn't ready to be a nurse. I wasn't mature enough. I didn't take it serious. I thought that I could just kind of study and do like I did in high school. And, I mean, my high school career was nothing but socialization. Yeah. It had nothing to do with school. I was like, I'm just here because I have to be. I don't want my parents to go to jail, but I'm really not here to learn much. I mean, I was Kristen. But anyway, so I worked for 5 years. Then I went back and got my RN. Nice. Found out I was pregnant with my unexpected third child when I got accepted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I cannot go to school and be pregnant because they don't give you a lot of time off in nursing school.
No, yeah, they're pretty.
It's like, I'm sorry for what's going on in your life, but I need you here. You need to get your practice in, whatever.
Yeah, good luck, but we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. We care, but we can't care but so much.
Yep.
So I just said, well, I'm going to go for it because who knows what could happen. Mm-hmm. Maybe I could at least get through part of it and then have my baby and come back and finish it. Like, I had no idea what I was going to do or how this was going to work. I was just going for it. But by the grace of God, they were just so good to me. Because I had to have C-sections. I didn't have natural birth. So you got to have extra time off. Mm-hmm. Yep. But so I had my third kid. They gave me 1 week out of school. I literally returned to school with staples in my belly and had no idea how I was going to make it. I had a 7-year-old, I had a 16-month-old, and a newborn.
Wow.
And I was
keep you busy.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. But it all worked out. So then I worked 5 more years and got my bachelor's degree. And I really don't know. I wanted to be a physician's assistant. I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. Okay. My daughter-in-law just got accepted into physician's assistant school, so that's on my head.
For sure. It's in the mind.
But, it's on my mind. I'm proud of her. Nice. And then I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. So I went and got my bachelor's, but each time I would complete school, because I'm not a school person, it would take me apparently 5 more years to get my gall
I'm seeing a
try
pattern.
again. Yeah, a pattern. Not planned, honestly. I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this again. And then I went and got my master's in nursing. Wow. And I finished that in 2019, I think. Nice. And so I started out as a bedside nurse. To answer your question, I'm giving you the long way around.
I love it. This is what it's all about. This is the long form show, so you're right at home.
As an LPN, I started out in a doctor's office, but I didn't really feel like a nurse. I loved working there. It was a great place to be, but I needed to be challenged more. Yeah. So I spent a year there, and then I went over to the hospital here. Back then, it was Lenore Memorial, and I was a bedside nurse, what we call a bedside nurse, on a medical renal floor, which is anything medical, anything from, heart attacks to strokes and everything in between, psychiatric stuff, everything. Mm-hmm. And renal is kidneys. So we had a lot of patients on dialysis and stuff like that. I did that for 8 years and honestly never saw myself leaving. I worked weekend options so that I stayed home with my children. but I worked too. So I kind of had the best of both worlds. I was stay-at-home mom. I know what that's about and how lonely that can be. But I also was a working mom, so I got to know what it was like to be a working mom and kind of have that independence or whatever. So I worked every Friday night, Sunday night, and every other Monday night. And that was considered full-time.
Sweet.
And benefits and all that good stuff. So I was able to be home with my sweet babies, and I raised my babies. And, of course, while I was in school, they did go to daycare just a little bit. Keith and I actually were able to work kind of opposite of each other. We did that a lot.
Perfect. Yeah.
And part of that was so we could keep the kids home and obviously trying not to pay daycare costs.
Saving that money, I was just going to say.
When I hear what people are paying for daycare, I'm like, oh, my goodness. Crazy. How are you
just
doing
in
that?
case you don't have kids and you're like, I don't know, I think I want to have kids, just go to a daycare and be like, what does it cost for me to go to work?
Not only ask them what it costs, but stay there and hang out with those children for a minute.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what we keep telling Grant. We're like, the kids will be in here because we're homeschooling our kids, and they'll be being ballistic, and I'll look over him and be like, yeah, you want that. And he's like,
they
I
are
do.
the best.
I do. I'm like,
yes, you do. I would never discourage
fun.
somebody. It's the best, hardest job ever.
Yeah, very rewarding. Though.
Very rewarding. The days are long, but the years are short.
Yep.
Goes by. You don't feel like it's going by fast, but so then when all my kids were like, I think my baby was like in second grade or so, and I was home all week long by myself, and I'm like, this is boring because I've got way too much energy to be sitting here staring at the house, and you can only clean so much.
Right.
And I decided I wanted to try like a different type of nursing, but I didn't want to leave my comfort zone. So I just started doing some PRN, which is as needed in the medical world. PRN equals as needed.
Okay. What's the P stand for? Is it something
it's
registered
called
nurse?
Pro Re Nata or something like that. And I may be butcher. I should know that, but it's Pro Re Nata.
That's way over my head. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just know as needed.
Okay.
So
Confirmed.
I worked a couple of, so I would drop my kids off, go see a few patients. I was doing home health and hospice care. And they actually have an office here in Kinston, 3HC, Home Health and Hospice Care. Great organization. Highly recommend them. So I absolutely loved it. I was just like, oh my goodness. It was real one-on-one patient care. Whereas in the hospital, you're dealing with 8 to 11 people at one time. And man, you don't know if you're coming or going. So I did that for a year, and then they created me a weekend position because I still wasn't ready to give up being at all my children's stuff and taking them to school and picking them up from school and going to AR parades for reading all the book, all the things that they had going on.
Well, yeah, you just did all that pay period. Now they're like, they can wipe their own butts, so you're trying to hang out with them a little bit more. You're like, oh, this is great. Like,
right. Let me enjoy you a little bit now.
Yeah. That's sweet.
So then I did that weekend option for a year with them. And then I did an evening nurse position, which is basic. Because then my kids got older, and they were like, when are you going to hang out with us on the weekend? Because at that point, home health and hospice was Saturday and Sunday. So I wasn't doing night shift anymore. And that took a long time to get used to, getting my sleep schedule back.
Back on normal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Because, 8 years of night shift. But,
yeah, that changed. It's like 12 years of normal shifts, right?
And so, because I would take the girls to preschool, and then we would take a nap together. My kids were on a very strict schedule. I didn't even have to say nap time. They knew. They were like
it's like you're not OCD
robots.
at all, yeah.
Yep, they were like robots. And so I would take a nap with them, and then I would work Friday nights, and then I would get off on Saturday mornings, and Andrew would have travel ball. So we would be traveling wherever. And I would stay awake, or I might take a little cat nap on the way there. And so I lost a lot of sleep in those 8 years. So if you see gray hair, I've earned it. And so then when I was working at 3HC, they asked me to be their director for private duty home care, which is for patients who pretty much probably fit like nursing home criteria, actually like critical care. They need like breathing ventilators, and they are total care patients. But their insurance will pay for a nurse to be in the home.
Okay.
So I was over that program.
I mean, it's probably cheaper than the insurance paying for them to be laid up somewhere else.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. And you get better care. Yeah. You don't have as many infections.
Plus, you're in your house. Yeah, you're not around all the other mess, and you're in your own home, so your people can come over and see you and stuff. Yeah, that's
and
cool.
So we did that. Cool. And so part of it was nursing in that program, and some of it was CNA work for just people who've aged a little bit and just needed a little bit of help with their activities of daily living, like keeping their house clean or getting a bath, getting dressed, washing their laundry, So that was part of it too. I really enjoyed that. I did that for about 4 years. So in 2014, I kind of left the bedside and went into the administrative side. Mm-hmm. And then I did that for about 4 years, and then I was asked to be the director for talent acquisition and engagement, which is basically a long, fancy title for recruitment and HR, engagement. Yeah. So I recruited nurses and different professionals for their organization and planned employee engagement activities, and that was a lot of fun.
I can see how that could be.
But the cycle of turnover in healthcare,
it's pretty quick, right? Mean, what's like like an average-ish time to be at one spot in that type of a position? 2-3 years, maybe?
At best.
Like it's a long time. It's just you're just getting offers from all the time from everywhere,
constantly.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the struggle is real, and so you feel like you're running on a hamster wheel. Mm-hmm. And you hire somebody and you lose 2 people. And I mean, it wasn't, I'm not knocking 3HC. It's everywhere in healthcare. Yeah, it's just a way. And it's gotten worse. Totally. I mean, it's gotten worse since COVID. Yep. And then they had some turnover in their HR department. So they were like, would you like to try being the director? Because talent acquisition was under HR. Yeah, it's basically. So they're like, try being the director of talent acquisition? Of HR. And I'm like, sure. I mean, I hated school growing up, but now I'm a nerd. I love to learn. And right. So that was my most recent position before jumping over into the mortgage world. So I have been an LPN, RN. I've got my professional certification in human resources. Nice. And now I'm a mortgage loan officer. And that was a quick class. That was just 20-hour class. And
didn't take you 5 years.
No. Wait. 2019? Nope, not yet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. When I knew I wanted to try something new, I was talking to somebody. Somebody was mentioning my friend that I talked to and confided in about. She's like, you should try like mortgage loan officer, and I'm like, I'm not going back to school. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm fixing to do, but I'm not going back to school.
I'm done. Yeah, never again.
So when I got my master's, I stupidly was working full time Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I went to school full time. So for 2 years, I spent every night when I got home. We would cook supper, eat with our children, get them settled. I'd go sit in my bedroom. I had a desk in there, a little office space, and I would work on my schoolwork for maybe an hour or 2 a night. I mean, I just didn't have a lot in me. But so Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, 16 plus hours for 2 years. I looked forward to my semester breaks. I lived for them. I was like, dear Lord, and because you had to take like 2 classes one semester and 3 classes the next semester, stay on track. And that is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Because, again, I mean, I'm really not a student. I mean, I'm not a steward person like that. But I don't know. I don't know how I did it. But I did it.
Yeah, day by day.
Yeah, day by day, class by class. Yep. I never cried or had a breakdown, thank God.
Keith agree with that, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Would he second that story?
Absolutely.
I'll have to ask him.
Absolutely. He did the same thing. I mean, he has a master's degree, too, but he got his a lot sooner than me.
I have a breakdown like every 4 days. So.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I smile a lot, but.
I don't believe that. So, there's my life story in a nutshell, Zach. Now you know everything about me.
I like it. So, funny story. I had never would have guessed that you guys were like the age that you guys are, because I always thought you guys were both younger, like around our age. I'm like 34, 35. And so I always thought you guys were like around our age. And I thought Andrew was like Keith's brother. Because like you guys all look so young and stuff, and I was like, man, he's got a young brother. Like his parents, must have like a long stretch of time there. But I just never knew any of the backstory. That's
so when Andrew, when he got in high school, because he started growing a beard when he was young.
Gotcha.
And me and him have always been very, very close. I mean, he's just very affectionate, very sweet child, and of course, I just could eat him with a spoon. So I was obviously very affectionate to him. So we would walk through the mall back when it was open, and I would be like, people are going to think I'm your girlfriend. Yeah, and he was like, stop, Mom.
That's funny, though.
So thank you. I'm glad I look so young. But now you're up close and personal, and you can be like, from a distance.
Jeez. Yeah, Steph does that stuff, too. She's like, I'm like.
The struggle is real. The aging struggle is not fun.
Yeah, I've like, I can't see very far away. I'm very nearsighted, and I don't wear contacts or glasses or anything. And I'm starting to really notice I'm getting them crow's feet good, because like people wave at me from across the street, and I'll be like,
"Yep."
Oh, hey, Brandon, what's up, dude? Like,
yep. I can see up close, but far away, I cannot see anything.
Yeah, I'm the same
I have
way.
to wear glasses too.
Yeah.
You just need to get them. It's fun to see. It's like, oh wow, this is so nice.
I kind of like not being able to see people from far away. Though.
But they're gonna think you're rude. They're gonna be like, hey,
I get that all the
saw
time.
me.
I get it
know
all
he
the
saw
time.
me. It's like, oh, I didn't see you.
Zach is a jerk.
can't see
I
you.
saw him the other day and I waved at him and he didn't even. He like looked at me and then looked away. I'm like, I can't see you, so I'm sorry. Like it's not. Don't take it personal. I really just can't see you. And if I'm like this and then I look away, it's because I tried to see if I knew you, and then I was like, I couldn't tell, so I just.
If I was ever watching TV, or I mean, even now, if I don't have my glasses on, or I'm looking at the computer, I'm doing, and my kids will be like, "Why do you look so mad?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm just trying to see."
Trying to actually see what I'm watching. Yeah.
I'm trying to just see. That's all. Not mad.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, I definitely do that too. I'm like, all the time. I got to get it fixed.
You do.
Allison
Wrinkles aren't
Merritt was yelling
fun.
at me.
Avoid them if you can.
Yeah. Well, I was telling.
Glasses.
Yeah, I was telling Allison Merritt. I was like, yeah, I'm starting to get these little. And she's like, I can help you with that. Like, I got this cream, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Some tretinoin cream.
Yeah.
Get those skin cells rejuvenating themselves.
Like 2 days later, I got on Facebook, and like the top story, like in my little thing, was like her with like some stuff on. I was like, she wasn't kidding. Like it was like she like took it to heart, and she didn't tag me, but I felt tagged. It was funny though.
When you get, well, for us as women, you turn 40, I don't know what happens. We just lose it. And I'm like all about some skincare. Like I get my cream on my face in the morning. All these creams, I've got like 3 or 4 that I put on. And then I'll go iron my clothes and do everything while he's soaking in. I'm like, get in there. Get in there. Yeah, marinate. That's a great word. Yes, marinate. Yeah. Keep my skin soft and cute.
Yeah. We'll have to come up with like our own brand and then just market it with that term.
Marinate. Just
marinade.
Call it marinade. This is marinade. This is marinade. Skin marinade.
We're looking for angel investors in our new venture, if you don't mind. You know, we're trying to piece together a lifestyle here. So if you guys, you know, I haven't said this on a few episodes, but since you're on here, may as well. Been kind of throwing it out there because you don't get what you don't ask for.
That's right.
So, and you know, you got to put it out in the universe if you want it to come to you. But down here at 300 North Heritage, we're gladly accepting donations up to and maybe over $100,000. So
Absolutely.
There's a lot of things I could do with that money, and it would be really cool if someone that $100,000 didn't really mean that much to you, and like you could live without it, and your life would never be any different. No one would even know. Like, you know, you're like 10 mil plus, and it's 100Ks, whatever. You can just bring it down, and whether we're here or not, like if you want to be known, that's cool. Just come in. We'll be like, yes, and we'll tell everyone that you are awesome. Or if you don't want to be known, you want to be like incognito, there's a little gap under the door. You can just put it in an envelope, and it could be a check, a money order. It could be like in payments. It could be all at once. But just slide it under the door, and if you want us to share it, we'll go 50-50, 50K, and you just put like episode 38. And I'll know. And I'll go back and I'll split it.
Yes, let's please get a split.
Like that?
I love that idea.
How much interior decorating could you do with 50 G's right now? I mean,
oh my goodness.
Top
Well, you know, I
project
live
in
in
the
a
house.
much smaller house now. I've downsized, so
you can
50K
go
would
crazy.
take me a long ways.
Yeah. There you go. So if you got 100 G's sitting around.
You know, some people 50,000 will get you a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
But I'm cheap, so.
My in-laws,
Give me a little ways.
we were at their place, their new place and stuff, and like they're very conservative, extremely conservative.
Right.
And they've been grinding for years, and like they've put. I mean, everyone thinks Out of America is like this big company. Their company is monstrous big compared to like us. Like that's where we learned I learned how to do all that stuff working for them. But very conservative. They finally like built their final house. They're 64, 65, something like that. So
Awesome.
like they build the ranch, you know.
See,
so
you're never too old to get a mortgage.
No, exactly.
That's what I love. You're never too old to dream a new dream or build a new house or buy a new house.
Yep. But yeah, we were over at their place over the holidays. We're like, man, these couches, couches are comfortable. And we're like, yeah. And they were like, she's like, she's the bean counter. She's the CFO. And he's kind of more like me. He's running in a million different directions, and then she's making sure that it all makes money.
Right.
And so she was like, yeah, ask your father how much. You know, she's talking to Steph. Ask your father how much the couches were. And she asked him, and he's like, no, $10,000. And I was like, and she was like, I mean, it's really comfortable, Dad, but damn. And her mom's like, you can tell she's like, but she really likes it too. You know, so it's funny. But yeah, they went all out, man. It's a really cool place. They did like the interior decorator to kind of help them pick it out and make it all sexy and stuff. But
life goals.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Right.
I know. I told her, I was like, man, let's go ahead and get those plans and keep those in the back pocket.
Right.
We get that next spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Dream big.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a whole life thing. Like if you aim here and you aim above what really will make you happy, and when you miss a little, you're still going to be really happy.
Right. So I think I was talking on the podcast last night about
Spoiler alert,
sorry. When Keith and I first got together, and all we wanted was, because I mean, don't matter how old you are when you get married, you start kind of evolving into that little married couple, and everybody, well, no, I don't say everybody has the same hopes and dreams, but I think most people want to own their own home together.
Yeah, for sure.
And well, we had come from very humble beginnings, and all I wanted was my own little single wide trailer, because that's what I grew up in, and that's what I knew, and I just wanted my own little piece of the world with a single wide, and it never worked out. And so I was setting the bar here,
right?
Because I just did not have the mindset. And so after I went to nursing school, and not that I was making good money, I think I made a whole $12.50 on my first job. Actually, I made $12 at a doctor's office, and when I went to the hospital, it was $12.50. But anyway, somehow, some way, we, I think some friends of ours who kind of were in the same situation as us got married and pregnant young, and they built a house, and we were just like, wow, if they can do it, maybe we can do it.
Yeah, why not us? Yeah.
So we didn't choose the building route. We chose to buy a home, and I mean, thought I struck gold. But it was just amazing how I was here, but I feel like God was like, no, not that that little starter home was not amazing, but it was. Yeah, it was to us based off our background. It was. Yep. It was just wonderful.
Yeah. Anytime that like you, I mean, you're doing something and you come up a certain way, and then you start surpassing like what you thought was possible. Right. It's the coolest freaking feeling ever. Like the hard work actually pays off.
And especially so from there, we started dreaming big about everything. Yep. It's like we can do more, we can be more, and we can have more.
For sure. Yeah, we kind of did that too, man. Like we got, I think we got pregnant with Ailey. We were like 22 or something like that. So, we were old people compared to you guys, but we were still,
I was a kid
still
with
earlier.
A kid.
Yeah,
Andrew and I definitely grew up together.
For sure. No, that's cool though.
But it wasn't terrible. And of course now it's wonderful. I mean, I'm 42. Yeah, my kids are living their best lives, and me and Keith are bored. Right? Yep. I've got.
Is that the youngest? Or do you have one?
Nope. So Andrew's 23 and married, and Lacey is 18 and on her way to ECU. She'll be graduating in June and starting ECU in August. And Lindsay is 16. She'll be 17 in June. Gotcha. And she's a junior in high school, so she'll be a senior next year. Okay. And then I'll be empty. I don't know. I've been living with kids and a husband since I was 17. So.
And is that right? 43, 44, and then your kids will be
graduating? Well, I'm 42 now, so 43 next year.
Yeah, that's about what we're going to be.
43 and a half.
I think me and Steph are the same age. We're like 5 months apart. And, I think like 44 is when our youngest will be.
Right. And it's nice. I mean, because the thing about aging and the reason why wrinkles are so bad is, first of all, they don't look good, but you feel so good on the inside. And you want to look like that on the outside. I still feel young on the inside. And so, but we felt like, I was just telling Stephanie, your wife, this a while ago, how you're raising the kids, and it's just, life is so busy. You don't know if you're coming or going. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, it feels like all of a sudden, I mean, obviously it's not, it's 18 or 16 years worth of stuff, but all of a sudden your life just like, boom, done.
Different,
like, it's just me and Keith now, it feels like. Like, what are we going to do? There's nobody to cook for, because they think they're supposed to eat out 3 times a day. I'm like, well, you got a job, you spend your money how you want to, but
blow your wad all you want.
That's right. If you want to waste your money on Chick-fil-A, God's chicken, you go right ahead. That's what they call it.
I never had Chick-fil-A till I moved down here. Like, we had them in Columbus, but I was always like, I'm not waiting. I don't care how damn good the chicken is. I'm not waiting in that line. And then we moved down here, and someone brought it in. I was like, that's amazing. And I was like on it real hard and heavy. But now the Bo's chicken sandwich. You had that.
Bojangles?
The Bojangles Bo's chicken sandwich destroys Chick-fil-A.
We eat out a lot for supper, like I told you, Jay's or Laughing Owl, but don't do a lot of eating out for lunch. Mm-hmm. Well, except with these realtors, I'm having to wine and dine.
Yeah.
But they don't want Bojangles, Bo's biscuit, or Bo's sandwich. They want eat with a fork. That's what I call it, eating with a fork.
Yeah, for sure. I started, I've been doing like Harp and Dill so frequently. I'm like trying to eat I put vinegar on my fries. I don't know if that's a thing you've ever tried or not.
No.
You ever been to like a fair?
What? A fair?
Like been to the fair, got fair fries?
No, never heard of it.
So the fair fries, at least in the Midwest, are like they take the potato and they just chop it into fries. So you get like the skins on the ends or the sides sometimes, and they'll make them kind of crispy, and then they'll hit them with like malt vinegar, and then they'll throw kind of like a not small salt on your table shaker, but like kind of like more of a rock salt.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, it's the best. So anywho, their fries remind me of that. So like we started going in, I was like, "You guys have malt vinegar?" And they're like, "I don't know." And they start going through, and now it's like.
You're walking in there with your own little bottle.
Well, I told them, I was like, just give me a bottle, just like keep it at the bar, like I'll use it. And so they were like bringing me a little ramekin of malt vinegar, and I was like, I don't need that much. Like, I don't want to run you guys out.
A splash.
Yeah, I was like 4 dashes or 5 dashes. So now we go over, and Justin's like, he'll pop out his head, and he'll like get an order, and he's like, I'm pretty sure that's Zac and Steph, and then he'll like poke his head out, and he'll be like, I'm like, yeah, just go ahead and hit him up. You don't even need to bring the bottle out, but yeah, they have like a dedicated malt vinegar bottle.
I've only had vinegar that I put on a food on collards, but I don't even love vinegar on collards. I just like my collards plain.
I haven't done the collards too much. Not from here, so
My favorite food.
Didn't grow up with
One of my favorite foods.
Really? I like Brussels sprouts.
I love those too.
Yeah, with bacon. Bacon
Oh
bits?
yeah. I mean, I can eat them anyway. I love vegetables. So there's not many vegetables that I don't like. But yeah, Keith likes to make them with bacon. He's heavy on the bacon. It's like, would you like some Brussels sprouts with your bacon?
A little bit.
And I'm like, babe, cut back on the bacon. Like, we're trying to be healthy here. We're going to be dying
We
from
did,
clogged arteries.
Yeah, exactly. I told you we were doing the pork shoulders the other day. We kind of like got into this pork shoulder thing, and so I did one where I put I had like a whole pound of bacon sitting in the thing. I was like, whatever, throw it on there. Well, it got like hard and crispy like through the cooking. Okay. And so we took it all off, and then we crunched it all up, and we pulled all the pulled pork, and then we threw the bacon like bits in and mixed it all up, so it gave you a little crunch going on in there.
Nice.
It was a little different.
You might have to open you up a restaurant or to get you a food truck, Zac. Come on a podcast and eat from the food truck.
I just want to sell the idea.
Yeah. You just sold it. Somebody's going to steal it now.
Go ahead and take that. And
if
again,
we find
like I said,
pork with bacon, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you should probably be sliding the 100 G's.
Yeah, you better get us an
Go ahead and get the envelope
in the door.
Exactly. But yeah, it was pretty good. I don't know. I like a little crunch with sometimes that stuff gets a little texture guy. Sometimes it's a little, needs a little crunch in there. But have you ever been to BJ's Warehouse? You ever heard of that place? Or BJ's Brew House?
No.
It's like it's kind of like a chain place, but they started out like a microbrew with like some cool menu items and stuff. Really cool spot.
Where's it at?
I don't know. I'll have to look up like where one is around here. It's like in Ohio, but they have them in Florida too. So like they're kind of everywhere. Gotcha. I don't know where one would be around here, but that's where we got on the Brussels sprouts because they'd bring them out. They'd make them in like this little pan, and they'd be the Brussels sprouts and bacon. And it's almost like they had a little bacon fat in the grease, so it was like really good. And they kind of tossed them in that, and they had like a sriracha, like a creamy sriracha sauce over top.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds
As
good.
the children would say, chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
I don't know.
Oh,
Someone
yeah, I
told me
like that.
All right, cool. But yeah, it was. Now Steph
delicious.
makes them all the time, and I'm like, quit making them in the house. They smell terrible.
Yes.
I put them on the grill.
Yes, they do smell terrible, but they taste amazing.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I can eat them however you serve them.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Favorite way. Yes. For sure. No, that's cool. These flies.
We got a friend.
We had the door open because oh, I got that one. Hit it. Almost put him in my mouth.
Nope, he's still going. You didn't eat him.
I got my Bengal spray I got from Lester's, and I run around and I like fog them. I have a whole technique on how to kill a fly.
Have you seen the salt guns that people use?
I have, but I didn't want to spend the money on them.
I think that would be cool for your show. Yeah. You get a little pistol one and just shoot flies.
Like a little side gat.
Yeah, like. Sorry, I just had to kill that fly. Sorry, guys.
I'll have to go. Yeah, hold on. Sorry. No, that's funny. We got the Bengals spray because we had them we were cooking. My dad and my uncle were in town and stuff. So like, they're like, we can go all out to eat, but that's gonna be $200 for all of us to go out to eat. So they were like, let's just go to the seafood. You said there's a seafood place. We go down to Reynolds and just bought $200 worth of seafood.
Right.
Now we're eating like kings.
Yeah.
So we come back and we threw the door open and we were cooking in here and we were watching a game or whatever and it was all good and great. And then they left the next morning, went back to Ohio, and I come down here and I was like, that night I was like, I'll just clean it up tomorrow.
I get it.
Such a mistake. There's flies everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere in here. And I was like, oh, my God. So I went down to Lester's and was like, oh, Sam, I need the best thing for killing flies. And she was like, and walks me right to it. And I was just like, this will do it. And I was like, cool. So you try to chase a fly and you try to spray them. Well, they run this way and then your spray is behind them.
Right.
So now I have this new technique. I fog them. So I go up behind them and I go all the way around them. And then when they fly to leave, there's around
does it kill them instantly?
It gets them in the next like 5 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah.
Kind of like, what's it called? Hot shot for wasps?
Yeah.
But you have to spray that directly on them, though. But
yeah. Well, that was this. It was like, I was trying to be like, and just get them.
Right.
And then I was like, the spray.
You didn't want to be wasteful. You're like,
yeah, because I'm like counting. Exactly. And then I was like, that's cool and all, but then like I look like an idiot. Like people will be like parking, like stop at the light, and there's like some idiot inside running around going.
Right.
So I was like,
because they can't see the flies. Yeah, they're like, what the heck is he doing?
Is nuts. Yeah.
What is this guy doing? Yeah. That newbie is weird.
Yeah, they're like
running around his shop with a can of something.
What's wrong with that guy? Yeah.
Ohio
people.
They're strange.
No doubt. Yeah, it's funny. Anywho.
If we were a fly on the wall,
no doubt.
Candy camera watching you do that.
Well, that's what we were joking. We got the little Roomba. We call him Buddy.
Yeah. Call him Buddy?
Buddy the shop vac.
Love that.
And so he kind of runs around, does his own thing. So if you ever see him, the door, he knows where the edge of the door is. So he stops and turns around. Well, we're into automation and technology here, so may as well automate the vacuum. But pretty much the number one thing for him, other than picking up powder on the rugs, is you open him up and he just loaded up with dead flies
that you sprayed out of the air.
Because you can't see them because we got the black fleck on the floor. And
right.
So it's whatever. And then you're like, oh, had a pretty good day.
It's like your reward. You're like, oh my God, I killed 20 flies today. This is amazing.
22,
this is a good day.
Put it on they got the little chart with the stars.
Day. I know. You need to start tracking it.
Oh God, I'm an idiot.
No, you're not.
It's just
good.
Those fun things. But anywho, well, you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. But spoiler alert, this is probably going to go up. I'll probably put this out to Friday, Saturday. So if you're watching this, it might be Friday or Saturday, maybe Sunday. But I think Sunday at noon, whole brand new podcast is dropping called
Keeping It Real Estate with Kristen.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. So
well, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, well, so is this too. So showing the growth as you go is actually like the value of it, right? Because like
I hope so.
I know it's tough for people that are like want things. You said you're a perfectionist.
I am.
So it's kind of a difficult thing for perfectionists to be like, all right, we're gonna do this thing where it's kind of off the cuff and it's just kind of free flowing, like this right here, free flowing.
Yep.
No, like
I know, no script,
nothing,
no teleprompter.
Yeah, I know. Steph's trying to get me on that teleprompter too, but yeah. So what do you think? We did 2 recordings the other day. So you guys are gonna get episode 1. We're gonna space them out. You're gonna get like 1 a week. But what do you think of it? Pretty fun.
It was definitely different and out of my comfort zone.
For sure.
But it was definitely fun and interesting, and that's what personal growth is all about. You know, stepping out of your comfort zone. So thank you for. I got to give credit where credit's due. This guy approached me about doing it, and I'm like, what? Because that is definitely something that would have never happened.
Yeah, you never would have called someone up and been like, I think I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah, I would have even done it from home. I mean, I can't even do a reel. I had to do that video for work, and before you were like, hey, let me help you with that, I was just kept thinking about doing it, holding my phone or propping it up and videoing myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a disaster.
For sure.
Because I don't know, it's just not my generation or whatever that I come from, and I'm just not. I love to be in a crowd. I love to socialize. I love to have a good time, but I don't like to be the center of attention.
Gotcha.
So I feel like I'm the center of attention on this podcast, even though I'm really not. My guest is, but still I'm there, and I'm trying to do a lot of talking and engaging them, and it's just like, just so different. Yeah. But yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good to educate people on, all things real estate. Mm-hmm. And, the goal of the podcast is to enlighten the viewers about all things real estate, but not only just local real estate here in Kinston, but I've got partners in Raleigh and Goldsboro and Jacksonville and New Bern, Kinston, Emerald Isle, Morehead City. So kind of getting a variety of realtors in here, and not only realtors are not in here, but on the podcast, getting other walks of the real estate world too, insurance agents, real estate lawyers, home inspectors. My brother's a home inspector. I mean, whoever, I can't think right a second.
Yeah. Interior decorators. I mean, there's a whole, contractors that do kitchens and baths. I mean, there's a whole slew.
I mean, you up there as a home buyer, and just kind of talking about what that experience was like for you, and just helping people not be scared. So many people are like I was when I was young and dumb and just scared to try. Yeah. And all people can say is no.
Yeah.
But I don't tell my clients
Exactly,
no.
yeah.
I tell them, I say, okay, right now, if it's something we can't do right now, then okay, here's A, B, and C that we need to do, and we'll get you there.
Yep.
The answer's not no. The answer is not right now.
Exactly.
So that's one thing that I personally do with my clients who can't do a loan right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, giving them the framework to be successful. Like,
Right.
This is where you want to go, this is where you need to be to do that, and this is where you're currently at. So just the real talk is, a lot of people brush stuff like that under the rug. Like, they just don't want to. I don't know what my credit score is. I don't really know if I can do it. And then you kind of like push them into it, and you're like, no, like it's actually not that hard. Like,
well, I can do a soft credit pull through my organization, and so that doesn't ding your credit.
Yeah, it doesn't give you
so
the
I
inquiry.
can look at your credit, I can get your scores, and then I can really give you a true picture of where you're at and what you can do or what you need to do, or you might not need to do anything. You're perfect. Let's go.
Yep.
And so I really, really enjoy that aspect of my job as well as getting the deal.
Yeah.
Because I love to educate people, because the fact is a lot of us, unfortunately, did not grow up learning a lot about finances and making good decisions. And so therefore, we find ourselves later on when we're kind of maturing a little bit and realizing that we have other dreams and goals in our lives. But, oh, man, I've made these bad decisions or not so great decisions, and now they're haunting me.
Right.
Well, the thing about it is it's easy to damage your credit, but it really doesn't take that long to turn it around.
It really
but
doesn't.
people think that it takes forever, and it doesn't. It takes like 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Of making good decisions,
Exactly.
timely payments,
Yep.
maybe paying a little extra if you can. But even if you can't, just being timely and getting that balance down.
Yeah, go in your closet and find a bunch of stuff that you bought that you wore one time that you don't need anymore, and flip it and get that money back, and then pay that money on that card.
Or get an extra job. I mean, I've worked.
Do a side job that you love.
In my life,
For sure.
Even as a nurse. I mean, Keith and I both. I mean, Keith is now the chief of police, so this is the first time in a long time that he's not done little side gigs for the police department, security, just to make a couple of extra bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy money. Why not?
Yeah. Like my biggest thing on like if you need cash to get somewhere, like you have a hobby that you know a lot about that most people don't know as much about as you. So you could get involved in buying and selling things that go towards that's in your little niche, your little like corner of knowledge that you know. Like if you like cameras, or you like this or that, you like video games. A lot of people like video games. You make a lot of money going to garage sales and buying video games and selling them on the internet. It's
I have
crazy.
a friend who makes really good money selling. I don't know exactly what he does. I haven't been behind the scenes to see what he's talking about, but he sells toys. He says toys. I guess they're little figurines or literal toys. I don't know. He used to collect them. So now he's got bins and bins and bins of toys, and he sells them. And he told us he makes like $1,000 a week selling toys.
I don't know about you, but if you could use an extra
On
50
eBay.
grand
I guess
a year,
it's eBay he probably sells
eBay
them
is
on.
awesome. eBay is awesome. We make a ton of money on
That's
eBay.
another reason it's so funny I'm doing a podcast, because I don't really watch YouTube. I don't know much about
content?
eBay anymore. I don't know. My son calls me a boomer. He's like, "You're such a boomer." And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just living my best life.
I love it. That's funny. That is too funny.
I mean, literally, if I were to get a new television, I probably wouldn't even know how to hook it up and get all the things
all the
on it so
smart
that I
stuff
could
to
watch.
work.
Yes, I would like help. And it's so funny because I feel like I was just a young person. I'm still young, but young and in the know, like just yesterday. And I can remember my parents being that person and being like, "What's wrong with y'all? You're so dorky."
Yeah,
and
why can't you
now
just,
I'm that person.
Why can't you just be hip, Mom?
Yeah, I'm definitely not hip. Unfortunately, I can barely work a cell phone.
That's too funny. If you can't hear in the background, Buddy, who we just mentioned.
I hear Buddy.
Buddy the robot is starting
He's
to do
getting
his
the
thing.
flies
So,
up.
yeah, we're
Buddy's
gonna go
on
ahead.
patrol.
Yeah, Buddy's just got paused.
Look at you. I mean, he's working the, what's it called? What's that thing called?
The Roomba?
Roomba. I was going to say robot. I know it's not
Yeah,
robot.
iRobot. makes
Working
them.
the Roomba from the phone.
Yeah. If you don't have it, it's pretty amazing. So, like, shameless plug, and they should probably go ahead and sponsor the podcast, so I'll hit on the sponsors after this. But, yeah, iRobot, you can get a Roomba without buying the $300 or $500 Roomba up front. Like, you don't want to put the capital out? No problem. They'll do this thing where they'll send you their newest one, and you give them $1 a day. And then it auto sends you the consumables. So you don't have to buy filters or bags or bristles or brushes or whatever. whatever the heck goes into it. It runs and runs and runs and runs, and then it just auto tells iRobot, hey, I've ran for this long, I probably need these consumables, and then it just shows up in the mail.
Wow. I'm sold. Get me one.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Give me the details later.
Yeah, the conservatives will be like, well, that's $365 a year, and $400 you could just buy the thing. Well, yeah, but then you got to buy all the stuff that goes with it. Like, I pick up all the dirt you can, buddy, because I really don't care, because you're gonna get all the
fog? I'm just kidding.
I know, it drives me crazy. I don't want to eat that
thing on air. It's gonna fly.
I did. I almost hit him into my mouth like a minute ago. Little guy.
See, it'd been okay if you did it, because you're a guy and y'all can do crazy things like that. I actually have a friend who gets pleasure out of randomly picking up bugs and making all the girls gross out because he eats it.
Ugh. I'm not that crazy.
And his poor wife, I mean, she's like, it's funny though. I mean,
it makes everybody
laugh.
He's a crowd pleaser,
I'm like, what does it taste like? He's like, I don't know, a bug.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I chugged the beer right after.
Right. I'm like, wow, I don't know. Wash it down. No,
that is funny.
It's gross watching him do it, but yeah, true story.
Well, tell me about your. You got episode 1 dropping here, like in the next day or two, and you had a guest that you maybe knew before you had her on the show.
Absolutely. So episode 1 is with me and my friend April Parrish, realtor with Remax Complete out of Goldsboro. And she and I kind of knew each other before real estate because our daughters are friends.
Okay.
But, when the children become friends at the older age, you don't really get to meet the parents. Or we don't.
Yeah.
We're like, my kid's driving around. I'm not going to follow her. So I knew who April was, and then I became a mortgage loan officer and so before that, I didn't even know she was a realtor.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't really know anything except that she was just this cute, tall blonde, like little hot mama. Speaking of hot mamas, she's definitely one of them. But so then I was like, holy crap, April's a realtor. I'm going to connect with her. Because that's what you do as a mortgage loan officer. Yep. You're out there trying to get the realtors to meet with you and get to know you, so they'll send you some deals. Mm-hmm. And we went to lunch, and it was just like, we were 2 peas in a pod. Boom. We've been super close ever since.
Nice. Very cool.
So I was very excited to have her on as my very first guest. And I actually told her, because she loves to do reels, because she was a dance teacher. So she's used to being in the spotlight or whatever. Right. That's what I tell her anyway. So, and she's just not shy. I'm her videographer.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted. I saw that
Not all the time. She does them herself, but I've helped her with a few. And she wants me to do one of mine. Like, she's talked me into one, and the only reason I was successful was because I didn't have to look at the camera. I was just pretending like I'm typing on my computer, and even doing that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared.
Oh, that's funny.
I've done one reel in my lifetime, #boomer, and she's done several, and hers are so cute, and she's just adorable.
I saw the one she did the other day where it's like she's like like all the time she's meeting with clients.
Yes,
like coming out the front door of the house.
That one. Wasn't she so cute?
It's so funny. I was
even Keith gave her props for that one. He was like, I really like that one.
Yeah, it was funny. And she comes out. The one that I thought was funny was first time meeting the client, and she's like all dressed up.
Right.
And it was like 10th time meeting the buyers or the
like,
client, and she's like in like tights or whatever.
Sports,
yeah, she's just chilling. And then it was like inspection day, and she comes out and she's got like a little Carhartt beanie and like drill in her hand, and she was like, cause inspection day is like, no, we are not buying this for this price. We're negotiating.
We are negotiating, yeah. Well, her husband got tickled with her because he said when he watched it, he noticed that she didn't even have the battery in the bottom of the grill.
I didn't even notice
that. So
that's
the difference between women and men. So when she told me that, I got so tickled. I'm like, hey.
That's funny, though.
Only the men are going to notice. Don't worry about it. The women are not noticing.
Yeah, I've got like 9 of those drills in the back, and I didn't even notice. Yeah. I was just cracking up, though.
She said that was the first thing he pointed out. He's like, well, honey, you don't even have the battery in it.
You kind of messed that one a little bit.
That drill is not working very well.
Yeah. She was not using it. No, that's
What's
funny,
wrong with this drill?
Yeah.
Thank God she didn't need a sound effect.
Yeah,
we would have been like, what is wrong with this thing?
That would have made it a hit, though. That would have just right on over top.
A blooper.
That's funny. That's too funny.
But yeah, she's good people. Both of them are. And, they're married, and they're a realtor team, husband and wife, and I enjoy working with them very much.
No, for sure. Yeah, it was very cool watching you guys do your episode, and then have to take a pause, because she's trying to work a deal, had like a little deadline she had to work, and she was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I get it. Like, the marketing is to get the sale, so
Right.
we can always pause marketing to close. Always be
Right.
closing, ABC.
So the fun part and the selling point for, I think, being a realtor or mortgage loan officer is there is so much flexibility and freedom in it. I mean, you don't have an office to report to, or I don't. I know a lot of MLOs do work for an agency and they report to an office every day. I work from home. I think I kind of do half and half. I'm at the office half the time and I'm at my home office half the time. And it's just because when COVID hit, everybody's just living their best lives now. And we learned as a society that you don't have to be in brick and mortar to make things work.
Yeah, the commute is wasted time.
Right.
Yep.
And so, totally forgot where I was going with that story.
Well, no, you're doing doing the office work from home mostly is like.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
the
the
superpower of a lot of
flexibility
it.
of it is nice, but we're always on as realtors and
Yep.
loan officers.
Yep.
And that's one good thing, shameless plug, about working with a broker or a lender is we don't have banker's hours. You know, I literally was doing a pre-approval, I think 2 Sunday nights ago, 9 o'clock at night, just
Yep.
sitting on my couch, kick back. Keith and I were watching something, and because we watch TV from 9 to 10 every night. That's about all the TV time we get.
Gotcha.
And so we were just getting into something, and this guy needed a pre-approval, and of course, I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
of course.
I got
So I
time
did
for
that
that.
real quick. I mean, it doesn't take long, and got back to my show. And he was just like, I cannot believe you're helping me on a Sunday night. I'm like, why not?
Isn't that like a superpower though?
It is. I'm like, buddy, I'm here for you, buddy.
I can't tell you how many
What else
times.
can I do for you?
Exactly. I can't tell you how many times, like in Additive America or when I was doing it before for Stuff's Parents, like the amount of like you score big when you respond outside of business hours.
Right.
And you know everyone's on this work-life balance stuff, and that's all warm and fuzzy if you've got enough money to be happy already, and that's great. But like,
Right.
I'm always hungry for more, and like I can switch gears back into work.
Well,
mode
I don't have
anytime.
anything else to do. I mean, you know, my kids are grown. I don't like to watch a lot of television anymore now that I've gotten older. I mean, I feel like I'm at Mother Earth enough, you know, like trying to find something to do. And I love Kinston, but there's not a lot to do here.
Sure.
And I don't know. I mean, I work from home, so my house stays clean because in between things, I'm keeping things straight, keeping my laundry done. And I mean, especially in the winter months. Now, we have a pool, so
Nice.
during pool season, I'm on the back deck at 5:01,
Oh, that's sweet.
living my best life.
Yeah, that's sweet. With the laptop and the phone nearby.
Absolutely.
Sound-
I am
sound
literally glued to my phone.
Yeah. I'm with that too.
But to talk about me not being a techie person, I literally had Keith just got me a new phone, which I guess it's a 13. I don't even know what level iPhones are at now. What number?
Me neither. Yeah, I don't follow.
I think it's a 13. It's a newer one, but I had an iPhone 6. And I was mad that he got me a new one. I'm like, this one works fine.
That's funny. Yeah.
He's like, you're going to be getting more calls. You're going to be doing more stuff on your phone. You need to get a new phone. I said, well, why didn't you get me a bigger one? You know I can't see.
That's why I got the,
He got me
that's why I
the
got the
little one.
fold. Yeah, you got to get one. You got to get on.
I
with these.
definitely need that.
Bam.
That's exactly what I need.
Yeah, I got this. It's super gimmicky, but it actually really does work really nicely.
When
the little
you
fold
opened
screen.
it earlier and showed me your house that you sold, I was like, man,
That's like the perfect time for it, though, right? Like it's. And what's cool is like it's got like, you know, not to like digress you guys into phone stuff, but like you have all that you need right here, so it's like a pretty cool size.
Right.
And then it's like when you're chilling and kicking back, you've got all of that, or you're trying to show somebody something.
Yep.
Boom.
Because I stay on Zillow. I love real estate. I always have. I
Get the
constantly
notifications
know
always.
what's on the market.
Yeah.
And not just in
I feel you.
Kinston. I look everywhere because I just love to look at houses.
Yep.
So I need a phone like that.
You do.
So
Come on,
I
Keith.
Come on, Keith. Now I need a new. Now I want a
Well,
new
now
phone.
you know this is what we do. When I pay one off, I'll go get a new. I've always been a phone.
I get it. I get it.
It's just kind of like the one thing I was always kind of doing. And so this one had kind of come out. I had about 3 phones for the company, and they were all getting paid off at the same time. And I was like, I didn't really need a phone,
Right.
but Steph did, and so I was like, all right, this is a cool opportunity. I can bump her. Like, you know, if you buy the top phone, by the time you pay it off, it's still a top phone.
Right.
And so I was able to bump what I had down to hers, which was like a Note. I mean, it was like a really nice phone. And so I went and got this, and I'd never done the watch thing. And the dude was like, he's like, watch. I was like, how much is this? Like, bro, he's like $18 a month. And I was like, sign me up. Let's go. Like, the business is paying for it anyway.
I
like,
can find that
let
in
me
the
check it
parking
out.
lot.
Yeah. I was like,
I can find that change on the ground.
yeah, I'll work an extra like 4 hours, you know, someday or something. I was
There
like,
you
no, I love having it all. But yeah, like the ability to pull it open and just like basically have a tablet in your pocket right now.
Yep. But you know, I mean, all of that is great and wonderful, and we love it too. But then sometimes you just I wish that we could just turn our phones off, because both of us have the jobs where we're constantly connected, and Keith's phone never stops ringing. And sometimes, even just going to dinner, I'm like, can we just leave our phones in the car? And both of us are like, nope. Yeah, so we never have an interrupted time.
Yeah, my dad. We're sleeping. That's what my dad says too. Cause he sold insurance. So he started like maybe mid-90s, and he's like, there is no longer the time where you can just be like, there's no I'll get it tomorrow anymore.
Right.
Because someone, and it's not necessarily because it's a bad thing, but it's just that like there's someone hungrier that's going to do it.
Absolutely.
So if it's not you, it's going to be someone else. And if the person that is the customer that's when they have time to do it.
Right.
They're going to find someone that accommodates their schedule.
Exactly. I can't tell you. I've not had that many, but my fellow loan officer friends are like, you know, I'm on the phone with a customer. Somebody calls, they leave a voicemail, or either they don't. And I hang up with you, Zac, and I'm calling Stephanie to see, hey, sorry I missed your call. And they're like, I've already found somebody.
Yep.
I'm like, shit, it was 15 seconds.
Well, they're just going down the list. Oh, didn't answer. Next. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the competition is serious. And like you said, I mean, that was a great point. There's no such thing as saving it for tomorrow, because somebody else is going to scoop it up.
Yep. Carpe diem is the big saying here in my building, that, you know, it's seize the day. If you've never heard of that, it's I say it to my dad sometimes, and he's like, carpe the thing that you talk about. And I'm like, it's serious. It's seize the day. Like, Steph's dad taught me this, and we would go in. I would get in there like 6:45, 7 o'clock in the morning, make my little LinkedIn video, have it posted. And my goal was to have an on-site selfie video posted to LinkedIn by 7:30 a.m. every morning.
Oh, really?
Because
I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't get up there.
LinkedIn is serious. It was really, really serious pre-COVID. It's still legit, because when you're there, you're in a business state of mind.
I know, but people are blowing up your inbox, and it just drives me insane.
So you delete spam in your email all the time. Who cares?
Well, I actually don't keep up with my email either.
Then you definitely need to get to
I've
LinkedIn.
got 10,000 emails. Don't email me, because I will not get
text.
it.
Text or call.
Text me or call me, because I am not good.
Yeah.
I even had a client one time, and this is me being transparent. If you want a mortgage loan, or you're interested in anything mortgage related, text or call. I mean, I'm all over social media. You got everybody in the world should have my phone number. They're messaging me on Facebook or messaging me on Instagram, and I don't get it, because I don't check that often.
Yeah, just got to turn notifications on. Come on.
I can't stand all the dings.
I just turn the sound off.
Well, then how am I going to get the notification?
But it'll still pop up and be in your, like, it's in your face, though. It's still in like the top, like the drag down.
Well, you're going to have to you're going to have to fix my phone.
Yeah, you got to always receive messages. You don't always have to respond to them, but take them all the time.
Well, anyway, so the point was I missed one, and I was like, oh, crap. And I went and messaged a girl, and she was like, too late. Yep. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, so you do all that work.
Do
all that work. You got to take it the way they want to give it to you. You know.
I know.
We'll get you there.
It's their world. I just live in it.
That's what I'm telling you. No, we used to. I guess I'm saying all that to say, like, I ended up getting a lot of international jobs for 3D printing, based on the fact that when they're awake, I'm laying in bed,
right?
And I'd get a LinkedIn message, and boom, I'm right back, and they're like, "Jesus, isn't it like 1 a.m. there?" Yeah.
Yep, but I want your business.
I used to wake up, actually. That's such a thing here. I don't
Traffic
understand.
in Kinston is a beautiful sound.
Buy a motorcycle, bro. Come on. But the stuff about it was like the amount. I would actually like try to set my alarm to wake up at 2 o'clock to check my messages in the middle of the night. Isn't that craziness?
Yeah, that's like having a baby.
Yeah, but it really worked. Like, some of our biggest clients, like even in the last year here, are Australia, New Zealand. Nice. How do you get it? Cool. How do you get that job? Be responding from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. because they show up to work at 5 p.m. our time.
Right.
And it's tomorrow already. And they love to remind you that they're a day ahead.
Gotcha.
You're like, shut the hell up, bro. Yeah, you're down there on an island. It's going to get cold.
Don't make me come there.
Yeah. We always, like, about this time of year, I'm usually messaging them like, yeah, the days are getting shorter, aren't they? Uh-huh. Yeah, summer's coming for us. It's funny.
Oh, speaking of summer, this weather has been amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. Such a tease.
Very nice little pre-summer. But for sure. Well, look at that. You didn't even, you thought, we talked last night about how I did an episode with someone who was like 53 minutes, and you guys are like, that's crazy. Da, da, da. We're at an hour 15 right now.
It's been nice.
Not bad, right?
It's gone by. Yeah.
No cuts. Ready? Just.
Yep. It's been cool. You sold me on it, Zach. I'm sold.
I love it. Anything you want to add? We do this thing at the end of every show called shameless self-promotion, which I try to make the whole thing about that. But
I know. I already
we
feel
talked
like
about a lot of fun stuff. But this is where you get to like actually plug the. If you really like this and you thought I was a human and you want to actually work with me, this is actually the stuff that puts money in my bank account. So this is what I'm out here doing. This is my mission. And this is the stuff that I can do for you. So
if my southern twang did not turn you away.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Keith and Brian came by today.
Oh.
And Brian said, hey, y'all, like 4 times. I was cracking up. He nails it. He's got you down. He must have watched your little intro video a few times.
I love him. He's so cool.
He was making me laugh.
He's my buddy. I love him.
He was good stuff.
Thanks, Brian. I know he's going to watch this. So I'll give you a shout out, my buddy. So, yeah, I am a mortgage loan officer with Motto Mortgage Complete out of Goldsboro, North Carolina. But I can serve anyone who's buying a home anywhere in North Carolina. If you live out of state but you're buying in North Carolina, I can assist you. If you live in North Carolina, I can assist you as long as you're buying in North Carolina. And we offer, all of us lenders are basically offering the same products. Conventional FHA, VA, USDA. We've got down payment assistance. You name it, we have it. Buy down programs. If you want to know more, just give me a call. I'm on Facebook. I think it's Kristen.mlo, like if you were just searching. Same thing for Instagram. And my numbers are up there.
Yeah, don't shoot her a message on there because she might not get to it until in a couple of weeks when we get her hit to it.
I prefer to be text, called, or emailed.
Hit the phone. But
I will eventually respond to Messenger. If you're a patient person and you're not in a hurry, you can send me an inbox.
Yeah, if you're a loan officer shopping and you've got if you're a loan officer speed dating, don't message on Facebook. Go ahead and hit the digits.
If your need is urgent,
hit the digits.
Please call me or text me.
That's funny. That's cool. And then your other plug. This whole brand new podcast that's going to be dropping. Are we going to drop that on Are you going to drop that on your? So you have 2 Facebook profiles for those of Facebook heavy area.
Personal and professional.
Personal and professional. So we're going to drop them. You think on the professional page?
Yes.
And then just reshare them from there. So cool.
Yep.
Cool. Very fun. So check that out. If you're watching this in the first 24, 48 hours of it dropping, in the next, basically we're going to drop this episode on my show, and then the very next day. You're going to have Kristen and Keeping It Real Estate with Kristen. It's a pretty sweet show. Yeah. First one's with April Parrish. Second one?
Leah Nichols, another wonderful superhuman that I love working with.
Yep.
And she's a realtor out of Goldsboro as well with Legacy Builders. And I just love her just as much as I love April. I have met some really wonderful people in this journey in the real estate world that
that's sweet.
I just feel like, how do I live without you guys? Y'all are just so wonderful. And, I've just really made some good friendships really quick. And so that's been fun.
No, for sure. Awesome. Very cool stuff. Like the ballsiness, but it doesn't really apply. But
I'm definitely female. I identify as a female.
The courage and all that it takes to be like, I just spent 20 years pursuing this career and this other thing, and I'm ready for a change. I'm going to go try something new. That's pretty cool.
Yep. It's been the hardest thing that I've ever done, and I've certainly questioned myself on more than one occasion. But I think now I'm getting to the point that everything's making sense, and I'm super glad that I jumped. And I really think things are going to get better, and the future's looking bright. And don't listen to the media. The housing market is not crashing. I get so sick of hearing that. Yeah. I think the media just scares us on every opportunity. Anything they can think of that might scare the hell out of you, they're like, let's go with it.
Well, if you're a mover and a shaker and you already know the game and you know what you're doing and you have the ability to influence people, some people take that ability to influence and they use it for bad things. And so sometimes, they want to fear-ridden everyone else because they're already set up and they're already working that game. And so if they can if you're a big time player in real estate and you also have some ties to some media stuff and your game's kind of screwed up right now because everyone and their brother is trying to get into real estate because you can't lose, why not just make everyone fearful that they're going to get screwed? And then maybe you'll get 10% of the people to back off and now your game's easier again. So that was my tin hat. But I swear that stuff happens for sure. So,
absolutely.
Yep. Just operate and do stuff and know what your goals are and keep pushing towards them. And if you don't own a home, you should probably look into it. It's pretty cool thing when you get older. Your net worth is a little bit different situation than if you're giving your money to someone else who's building their net worth by letting you pay their mortgage for them.
Absolutely. That's why I said earlier, whenever we were talking about interest rates, I mean, if you're buying an investment property, you really don't care what the interest rate is because for the most part, you're hoping not to ever make that payment.
Yeah.
And so even if you, I mean, you care because you want to make money, but
you want your cash
even
flow
if you
to be
break
right,
even, let's just, because I did a lot of research. Like I said, I was going to be doing some property management, I thought. But they say, like, even if you break even, because maybe you bought a property that just wasn't ideal, but you're just trying to build your portfolio, you're still winning because houses appreciate. And while you're paying it off, you get all the, and I don't know everything, but you get all these tax benefits. And I mean, it is just such a win-win. And I just wish, and that's part of my goal, and what I'm loving is just trying to help people understand how it really works and why it's so beneficial. I mean, people don't think twice about going and buying their freaking dream car.
Yeah, the Jeep.
I mean, they're out here they're spending house payment money to drive
crazy.
a car that depreciates as soon as you sign the bottom
That was
line.
something that was funny. We had Leon Zell on a couple of episodes ago, and that was one of his things. He said he sees $1,000 car payments fairly regularly, and I was like, that is an effing house, bro. Like, are you kidding me?
100%.
That's a really nice house payment.
I cannot tell you how many people I have to put on my little action plan, but they're driving their dream car.
Yeah.
But I'm like, your dream car is not bringing you value. I mean, yeah, you look cute, you look cool, but
Can't sleep in the Escalade.
yeah, you
can.
sleep. I mean,
Just
you
can't make
can,
food
but
in
it's
there.
not. That's not cool.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're driving a brand new Escalade. It's not cool to live in your Escalade.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, and that's bothersome to me too, because you could be investing in your future,
Yeah.
but you'd rather have a car. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, like
but
in 5 years of doing the flip side of like doing the house thing, you have enough equity in the house to almost pay cash for like if you wanted to do a cash out refi and then use all the money and just blow it on a car, like you could almost buy the car for free.
It will be cheaper.
Crazy concept. I
Because
know it might hurt your brain, but it's
car
real.
interest rates now are like 6 or 7%, but nobody's complaining about that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares that they're paying 6 or 7% for a vehicle.
Something I notice around here that's not shade throwing because I have a truck too that I probably don't need. I obviously don't need. I just choose because I like it, and I drove a Prius for a while to get here. But the amount of people that have these ridiculous trucks, and they're awesome. Don't get me wrong, big truck, man, cool. It's more manly than having a big truck. But when you're like not building your real estate portfolio, but you've got a $1,100 truck payment.
Right.
You look cool to your buddies now, but man, it's going to suck in 10 years when the guy who's driving the Corolla buys a house and then buys another house and buys another house, and then he sells one of them and then he goes and buys the truck that
Or
you wish he could
retiring
have.
at 50 and traveling the world.
Exactly.
Yep. Don't buy your dream car before you buy a home.
Amen.
Please.
Amen. Don't even have
This
a
does
car
not make
payment if you can
sense.
help. Yeah. Until you have a house, for sure.
Right. But it's our culture. Everybody wants the newest, latest, greatest.
Everybody wants to shine on TikTok.
Yes.
But
except me, because I don't have TikTok.
Same. I don't have it either. My brother sends me some from time to time. I got to watch them on the browser.
All my friends send me TikTok. They're like, you got to look at this one and say, I hit it and it goes to something. It's not the TikTok app, obviously. And then I have to hit like unmute and all this stuff to try to get it to work. And I'm like,
I tell my brother, I'm like, just screen record it and send it to me. Jesus.
yeah. I'm like, I got enough
too old
stuff.
for that, yeah.
I got enough stuff getting my attention. I don't need to go down a dark hole of TikTok videos because I've already heard how addicting it is. So I'm like, no thanks.
I don't have time for it. I'm with
I
you
got
on that.
things to do.
But yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. This is just it. But like the people that are ultra loaded in net worth, generally they have cash in the bank.
Right.
But the cash in the bank is dying every day because inflation's never going to stop. And I know inflation's a cool buzzword right now and it's really high and this and that. But like even when inflation's not record breaking, it's still 2% a year. So my grandma was like big on that. She had a bunch of cash in the bank. And the banker, every time she'd go in, would be like, you need to do something with this.
Yeah,
it's
invest
just
it
laying
somewhere.
here dying. Like, just buy a house and just rent it to somebody. Like, but do that. And she was like, nope, nest egg. And then the people that are the most loaded by the time they hit their 50s, weren't overextended into homes. But if you're invested in assets like homes, they're going nowhere in value. It'll do this a little bit, but it's always on an upward trend.
Upward trend, that's right. And I think that's like the number one route to becoming a millionaire.
Yeah, I think more people come from
has
nothing
been through real estate investment.
estate,
And I don't believe in putting all your eggs in one basket.
Sure,
I mean,
exactly.
if you've got some money, you need to be investing in other things
bit
besides
everything.
real estate.
Yeah.
But it is a good opportunity to get started in.
Pretty
and
safe.
It's something you can understand.
Yep.
You know, I feel like stock market takes a little bit more brain power
Yeah.
than just buying
It's
a home.
gutsy too.
Right.
I did some day trading. We sold our first house, had like that little lump of cash while we were waiting on the other one to be ready that we were building to close. I started doing day trading stuff. Super fun, but it takes a lot of time, and then you got to know what you're doing, and you can lose quickly.
Right.
You can lose quickly. I spent like 3 or 4 months, and I got my little Robinhood account. I was doing all sweet, and I was like, man, this is awesome.
You knew enough to be dangerous.
And then I got into one, and I was like, and I wrote it out, and I wrote it out, and I wrote it out. I was like, I got time. And it was bad. I pretty much gave away half of what I had made in the 4 months in about a week. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the
I would've
thing with
just wrote it out, I
investing
would've
too
been
is
fine.
it's got to be long term. If you're looking for a get rich quick, don't
do
invest
it.
in
It's a good way to
stocks or real estate.
It's a good way to get poor quick.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. There's
Yeah.
no such thing as get rich quick unless you just coincidentally hit the lottery,
Exactly.
which I don't play, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, me neither. But, anyhow. Well, cool. I really appreciate you coming on, Kristen. Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
This was Kicking It with episode 38. My name is Zac Holcomb. Kristen Goyette. Make sure you check out Keeping It Real Estate with Kristen. You'll be seeing it more and more and more because she's from here, so we know you guys are going to share it and watch it more than my show. So
I hope
make
so.
sure you
I
check
hope
that
so.
out. Yeah, I
Not
hope so
more
too.
than you, but equal to him.
More. That's what we want. Well, cool. Appreciate you all checking this out. This was episode 38. Catch up with you on episode 39. Have a great night.